see it every night on the evening news. Tragedy caused by alcohol and drug use.
A violent drunk driving accident killed a teenager after the SUV he was riding in slammed into a concrete pillar.
A lethal batch of drugs now circulating on the streets of New York City, and tonight it's being blamed for at least 6 deaths.
Killed in this accident, a 7-year-old girl and her family's limo driver hired to bring them home from a wedding. The driver of the gray pickup truck, police say, was drunk.
The damage to communities is staggering. Almost half of all traffic fatalities are alcohol or drug related. 1/3 of all crime. 1/3 of all incidents of domestic violence. 1/3 of all suicides. 1/4 of emergency room admissions. It's recognized as America's #1 health problem, yet it is a treatable disease. No community is immune from substance abuse, rich or poor, big city or small town. In New Jersey, 20% of residents ages 18 to 25 are addicted to drugs or alcohol, 10% over the age of 26. It affects people from all walks of life, men and women, young and old. And it not only harms the addict, but every family member dealing with the consequences of the addiction.
I started out like everybody else, high school using, Friday nights, like that, and then I started using different than everybody else. So I started not going home at night or going home and then sneaking back out, and people were going to school and I wasn't anymore, and I dropped out of school, and they were watching their TV, I was selling my TV, so it started to get different pretty quick.
I knew I had a problem. It wasn't until I realized that it was affecting people around me that I could admit to it and was confronted with it.
Once I found out I was an alcoholic, the pleasure in my drinking was gone. I realized at that point that I was drinking to escape. There was no such thing as social drinking for me anymore. I did not have any desire to social drink. I just wanted to drink to escape from the pain of my life.
I lost my mom when I was 17, and I think that's when my not so everyday drinking became an everyday thing.
Unfortunately, there are not enough treatment facilities available to care for everyone seeking help. To meet this need, Dr. Bill and Elaine Van Oost founded the Van Oost Institute. The Institute opened its doors in 1983. Located in 2 small rooms in St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Englewood, New Jersey, it was staffed by Dr. Bill and Elaine Van Oost, a therapist, and an office volunteer.
Van Oost Institute, may I help you?
This is over 20 years ago, and at that time, hardly anybody in this area knew how to treat addiction. We sought funding from grantors, from donors, and a bit from ourselves to keep this place going. We were never in this for the money. We were in it for recovering people.
In 1995, it moved to its present home in the First Presbyterian Church of Englewood. Demand is so great that it has almost outgrown this location. It is now treating over 200 families per year.
The Institute is a private nonprofit substance abuse mental health treatment facility that works with patients ranging from adolescents through seniors.
But she was so happy.
She really was. Our staff consists of professionals with master's degrees in counseling and social work and the human resource disciplines. They have additional training in substance abuse treatment, many of them going on to get their CADC, Certified Alcohol and Drug Counselor certifications.
And one of the beauties of Van Oost is how we individualize a program for the client. We don't put them into a cookie cutter type thing. Everybody goes here, everybody goes there.
When that patient is presenting with a certain set of circumstances, we treatment plan around those particular needs. That in itself makes a treatment program unique.
People are always taken care of. We have a psychiatrist here, and I feel that this is a safe place, and I think safety is really important because people are very afraid when they go into treatment.
We have a wonderful approach to our adolescent program, our young adult program. It's all resiliency based. We're not punitive in all the don'ts and all the bad things. It's look at positive things.
Through the Van Ost Institute, I came to the realization that I was worth saving, that my recovery was the most important thing, and that my life was worth living.
At the very end, I was homeless. I was working on the streets. I had one friend left in the world. She was my running partner, and she had AIDS, and she was having seizures. And that's actually originally why we decided to check in the hospital. I thought we would detox and then use more casually. But once I checked in the hospital and Bill and Elaine Van Ost got involved, they directed me. Any decisions at that point were sort of taken out of my hands.
We care about people who are addicted. We know that they are sick. We know that not only are they sick, but they desperately want to get well, even if they deny doing so. Denial is the major holdback on getting well. So once we get through that denial, and that was our major operation when we were in the hospital station, but it's also what we do here at the Institute.
Van Ost Institute. After the initial phone call that comes to the Van Ost Institute, we do a phone intake. From that phone intake, that potential patient is assigned to a therapist. They're assigned to a therapist to come in and do what we call a psychosocial assessment. Basically, it's for us to get to know him better so that we can treatment plan around his particular needs.
We offer a group dynamic, a group modality, where there's support from the peers, encourages clients to move forward, to start to get in touch with their first step, their denial, recognize that there's hope.
Phase one was very difficult for me because it was, you have to come clean, pretty much, and the counselors help you do that.
Phase two was a much more, I guess the first word would be emotional, but also an introspective period. When the small group of us really went into what was some of the issues, emotional issues, the fundamental issues that caused us either to take up a drink or abuse a drug.
I was able to share information and feelings that I was not able to do with my own family. This was a very safe setting.
Groups meant a lot. Then you establish relationships with people, so.
Phase three, again, was a smaller group, and that was a much more, you were developing your confidence at that point.
Hopefully they have a positive supports group in the community with AA or NA, and a strong family connection of some kind. And they are reaching out and moving away. It's like a baby, you're letting go, moving out of the nest.
One of the things that I encourage all of the staff here to be involved with is to be creative in their thought process in terms of what we can bring that might be new, innovative, and different to our treatment population.
For those people who have a lot of trouble in being able to just say what they're feeling or what they're thinking, sometimes if you give them crayons and paper or paint and paper, they are able to express on the paper something that they could not express in words. I painted with blue today, so that means I'm feeling blue. So the art therapy is a means to facilitate conversation and help people bring up and out some of those things that are difficult to discuss otherwise.
We believe at Van Ost that this is a family disease. So we strongly encourage the family involvement. So we're working with the whole system. We're working with the person who's identified as the substance abuser, and then we work with the family.
We see families once a month, every month on the last Thursday of the month we invite families to come in and we invite them to speak and speak to each other and speak to their loved ones. And then we break up the groups and go into a room with just the clients and then a room with just the parents and family. And that's a wonderful thing to see when people are finally getting back to their families.
I think we learn how to live with that addict or alcoholic, and everybody learns how to survive in that house. So the whole family gets sick.
I grew up this way. I reflected what I thought or what I hoped my parents would find acceptable and pleasing. Of course, since there was addiction in the family, almost nothing was pleasing.
By coming to my group or participating in some education about what codependency is and how it works, that person can begin to change and get better themselves and enrich their life and begin to focus more on themselves than on that family secret.
I think Elaine and I developed the foundation just by starting the Institute itself and taking the risk that this has got to work. But the rest of the building has been built by this wonderful staff that we have, by a series of members of the Board of Trustees who have been so loyal over the years, and for those people who have donated to our special programs. Without those donations, without the public support, without the excellence of our staff, without the excellence of our members of our Board of Trustees, we would not survive as long as we have. And I have no doubt that we'll continue for many years to come.
Bill and Elaine were able to see the person that was buried inside the junkie, and because they saw me, they set me free. And I'm somebody else now. I'm who I was meant to be.
I learned how to deal with life on life's terms without having to use, I should say. And yes, the last 3 years have been difficult for me, but you know, I think with the tools that I have learned from Vanos, you know, you just learn how to deal with them differently.
I've done it. I did it for myself. The people that I love have benefited also from that. That's fine, but ultimately to tell a person, you really have to want to recover. You have to do it for yourself.
I am able to be everything that I can possibly be through my recovery and through the tools and the love and the support of Van Ost.
They say stick around till the miracle happens. For me, the miracle has been to feel more like this person than that person, to feel more like a whole me than that fractured, shattered me. 15 years.